Hello, amazing Minnesota humans. Super excited to have you here with us today. We are going to be talking about adventure at team practice. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Melissa Davies. I'm the program manager of Adventure for NICA National. I have been with NICA for 4 years, started with the Pennsylvania League as the event director kind of slash race director slash assistant director of the league. Started piloting adventure 3 years ago, kind of testing with that in the Pennsylvania League, kind of figuring out how it was going to land. And then this past like a year and a half ago, I started working full-time for NICA National. It has been the love of my life. In my past life, I was a high school teacher. My degree's in biology, and I have a minor in outdoor education and a secondary ed teaching certificate. So I taught high school biology, chemistry, a little bit of health, and then got to lead outdoor trips, mostly for middle school, a little bit of high school student athletes or students in there. Rock climbing and backpacking were kind of where I was living in at that time. So that's me. You will also hear from later today on the call Julie Gujer. She is the adventure coordinator for Minnesota, as well as Erik. You won't hear from him today. I think a little bit at the end it introduces himself, but those would be the two amazing humans that you will go to directly to access resources and some more knowledge, skills, and abilities within the Minnesota League. So really quick, just going to go through some working agreements as we all are working together in Zoom. We're going to do our best to avoid multitasking and stay present. We all have life that happens behind us as we're all far too comfortable, probably than we ever wanted to be in Zoom, but we'll do our best to stay present. We try to make this as engaging as possible in the Zoom environment. We try to pause and create space. My internet probably isn't awesome, so using like a 7-second pause throughout the presentation, keeping things brief by paraphrasing. We love questions. Please post questions at any time throughout the presentation. Provide data. We'll provide a little bit of data today. We put ideas on the table, not ourselves on the table. We do our best to provide spaces for all voices. And as always, we're going to presume positive intentions, I think, in this meeting together and also just hopefully in life. Here's where we're going to get into today. So we are going to hopefully, right, our objective is to have you all be able to explain experiential and adventure education outside of NICA, just what those two topics are. We're also going to have you explain kind of the big picture of why and how adventure is implemented into the Minnesota League. So we're going to give you some context as to where this fits within the fundamentals, performance, and adventure kind of new, kind of tri-spoke, we'll call it, within the Minnesota League. And then also describe how adventure is integrated into your practice structure and plans. So going to provide you with some resources and be thinking about how you integrate this intentionally into your practice structure. We're going to start off playing a game. I'm going to roll through this pretty fast right now, but going to use this. I want you to kind of put your coach hat on, but we're going to ask this of you first. We're going to use the chat. So just in the chat, answer the question. Would you rather eat tacos or a burger? And I said tacos because who just eats one taco? Tacos or a burger after a ride? Humans are going to throw that into the chat, kind of respond. And then next, would you rather see fireworks or go to a concert? Can't use both. You can only answer one or the other. So which one are you thinking? Concert or fireworks? Next question, bizarre question, is have an extra finger or an extra toe, which is a little awkward. I'll give you my why as you're processing through finger or toe. I'm going with an extra toe simply because I don't want to try and find riding gloves with a 6th finger, right? And I always think of the Princess Bride reference. Question 4, be invisible or be able to fly? I will say overwhelmingly, most of us humans really want to be able to fly. A rare exception are those few of us that are afraid of heights, and then no deal, we're going invisibility. The last question to ground us in why we're all here. Would you rather live without a TV or without your bike? And so far it is 100% accurate that all of us that are here to coach and get more kids on bikes are all living without your TV, which is awesome. So the question for you, kind of thinking about this type of an activity, provides space to become acquainted, to allow student athletes to get to know each other, to find commonalities, to start and laugh, create a few giggles, but thinking about how you could play this at practice, transitioning this game into something on the bike or just integrated into practice. So a couple prompts for you. If it's off the bike, you can do something as simple as just having your pod or your entire team circle up and then take a step forward if they would answer, or take a step back depending upon which answer they would choose. So kind of a fun would you rather. The other way, which I think is fun on bike, have your pod or your athletes line up on the bike and then pick kind of an A side and a B side. And then they ride on their bike to the A or the B side, depending upon, for example, tacos or burgers, tacos on the left, burgers on the right, and they ride, they see where they are. They meet a few people that love burgers like they do or love tacos, and they ride back to that start line. So just a really fun way to kind of get them to know each other a little bit. And again, to smile, a few giggles, and to kind of get things warmed up. So I'm going to plant that seed for you all to kind of take that game back, and just a fun would you rather. Talking about some of the specifics. So within the context of NICA, we've divided adventure into kind of two primary buckets. And we're looking at this resource kind of living in, we'll very lovingly call it the little A, and then the big A. The little A is adventure that exists at team practices. These are team building, off the bike, on the bike games, specific practices and practice plans and structures, and then the importance, guiding, reflection, and or opportunity for them to make some learning from the experiences that they've had. That's what we're here to talk about today. That is what we are specifically kind of doing. But there's also this other aspect of adventure that NICA that we're developing is the big A, which are league level events. Minnesota, that opportunity, that's our kind of two-year project, is to kind of plant these seeds at practice, and then hopefully 2023 aspirational, we'll see kind of where we land to be able to provide the Minnesota League something that's a standalone adventure style event. I love that picture. That's the girl on the right in the flowers is Jules' daughter, which is fun. The game on the left is student athletes doing a tire levitation. That's a row tube works the best. And they work together collectively with just their index finger touching the tube and have to lower it collectively to the floor. So just a fun team building game. But that's a practice structure type activity, a team building. One really quick thing, not quick thing, one thing that I want to kind of plant a seed about is the importance of us realizing that as we're talking about adventure or performance or fundamentals, it's not addition through subtraction. As we add content to you as a coach, it doesn't mean that fundamentals are less important or that performance is less important. Our objective is to provide you with more skills to meet the needs of more student athletes on your team. We want you to be able to take in the small, awesome, amazing humans that come to your practices, figure out what their goals are, what their needs are, and then provide you with the resources to be able, and the knowledge, skills, and abilities to be able to meet those needs of those student athletes. So the adventure side is just one aspect of this that we're looking to intentionally integrate into practice structure. But we're not saying performance is less important. The races that the Minnesota League puts on and the events and structures that we have are fantastic, and they service so many student athletes. The OTB 101 and 201 skills and the demo team are all important, and our student athletes need those. This is just another, we'll call it like a quiver, in your arsenal to be able to meet the needs of more student athletes and have just become a better coach, to think about other ways that you can be a great coach. And then we talk about the definition of experiential and adventure education. So experiential education is learning by doing with reflection. NICA, we have this beautiful kind of tri-spoke, the old triathlon tri-spoke, and we have these three buckets that we work within. Fundamentals, which are the on-the-bike skills, 101, 201. Performance and interscholastic sport, which are those races and those events that the league support and put on, those stretch experiences within the racing and competitive space. And then adventure and experiential education are this whole third of the wheel that NICA, it's always been a part of us. It's always been there. We know that it has existed, but we are now with Julie and Erik and myself looking to really provide some resources to help you provide that intentionally and bring it into practice structure. So adventure education, when we're talking about that, is some type of a compelling task, usually with a level of uncertainty. We're not exactly sure what the solution to the problem is going to be. And it really is about relationships. We're really trying to develop a foundation of trust and build relationships interpersonally and intrapersonally, and making sure that we have that relationship opportunity. Those aspects of being on the team are so fundamental to the way that we feel and how we relate and why we want to be there, and to get our student athletes to come back and to be, in my opinion, hopefully on bikes for life. More kids on bikes, but really trying to get them to stay on bikes for life. So how we do that is really challenge by choice, and then helping pursue their best self. So providing stretch, providing games, providing resources, providing opportunities at practice, and then meeting the needs of each individual student athlete. Making sure you ask what their goals are and figuring out what it is that you can do as a coach to help them achieve those goals. And then in the context of adventure, really working to develop self-reliance, confidence, leadership, and decision-making skills. If we're looking for riders to be lifelong adventurers and to ride bikes outside of NICA, we need critical thinkers. We need them to have confidence both off the bike and on the bike, to develop some leadership skills, to be able to do some self-care and self-efficacy, and then make the right choices in order to be able to do those rides outside of practice where they're the decision makers and not necessarily guided by a coach. You've heard enough of me talking. I need a drink of water. I'm going to throw you into some breakout rooms right now and give you an opportunity to meet virtually a few coaches across the fantastic state of Minnesota. So I'm going to give you not enough time. I will front load, then I'm going to put you into breakout rooms and it will not be enough time. And I'm apologizing ahead of time. That is not enough time. But I want you to kind of think about an activity that you could use to build team unity. Thinking about those relationships, thinking about, we did the would you rather, and we talked about Scrabble rides. Think about either things that you've had success with in other teams that you've practiced with your team specifically, or just kind of a brainstorm. It could be arrival at practice. How do you build that team unity right from the beginning when they arrive at practice? A game that you've played to bring your team together, to learn names, to allow them to develop that sense of we are here to be together. And then also an end of practice ritual. How do you end practice so they feel like they're part of something bigger? So just a couple prompts. You don't need to answer all three of those. It was just to kind of get the wheels turning. And then the curious question that Erik, Jules, and I have for you are, where do you need help? You kind of have an idea of what this program is, where it's stretch, it's games, it's practice plans. What is it that you need as a coach to help you integrate this more effectively into practice? So I am going to stop sharing my screen. So if you need to, really quick, take a little screenshot of this if you need. So once you leave and go into breakout rooms, you won't see the screen anymore. I am going to put about 4 to 5 of you in each room. I am going to give you 7 minutes. 7's the magic number, 7 minutes. What questions do you have before I put you into breakout rooms? Throw it in the chat. You can unmute yourself. Okay, no questions. All right, team. I'm going to send you those breakout rooms. Should be heading there now. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hello, hello. Hopefully you got to talk to humans virtually. Say hello. Met a new coach. I told you, Nick. I told you it was not going to be enough time. I apologize. It's never enough time. I know. You get awkwardly ended in mid-sentence as someone's talking and then it just like abruptly ends. It's never enough time. So here's the kind of the next little bit we're going to play. I am going to have Jules randomly call the number 1 through 10. And then from the breakout room, hopefully someone will have the expressive courage to be able to share kind of some of the things that y'all talked about in your breakout room. So Jules, pick a number between 1 and 10.
6.
6. All right. Breakout room 6 was Megan, Michael, Sarah Fish, Terry's iPhone, and Tony. A little expressive courage to unmute and then kind of share from that group 6.
Nobody wants to talk.
Good girl, Sarah. All right.
Nobody else is talking. We talked about different games, or like one of the groups practices at Buck Hill, and they have a plush taco, and they earn tacos, and they can have tacos after practice on Tuesdays, during non-COVID times, and just different things we can do to, get the kids to get to know one another.
Awesome. Sarah, were you able to get to the discussion of where you need help or resources that we could help you with for practice?
No, we didn't really talk about that.
Anybody from your group have anything, throw it in the chat if you can think of anything that you all kind of would need help with. I'll give you some time. All right, another group, Jules, pick a number 1 through 10.
5.
5. You get to use your spinner. Yes.
Spinner.
Group 5 was Craig, Gary, Lily, and Nick. In group 5. Chair dance until someone unmutes and talks.
All right, this is Lily
Yeah, Lily! Thank
from the
you.
Winona composite team. And we kind of introduced ourselves, and we all kind of agreed that we'd all like some ideas and suggestions. Throw a couple, we're talking about doing a joint all girls day with Rochester. Our team is looking to do just a session with all the first years. We all like the idea of the game you start at the beginning, and one thought there was to, at the end of the practice, we do skills or games, and we could use those questions and answers to divide them to different teams, so they can't always go with their friends or have like the older kids with the younger kids, so it'd kind of divide them up a little bit. And then as part of that, they had to say their first name every time, so people start learning names a little bit better. And the other one that I wanted to try to do this year is to kind of have like the high school kids be a mentor for the middle school kids. So like each high school kid takes on 2 or 3 people, and at start of practice, they go in and say hello to them and make them feel welcome. Except I saw the middle school kids feeling kind of intimidated last year quite a bit by the older kids and not knowing what to do or say. So.
Awesome. Yeah, there's definite superpower that we have right within our team practice where we have the middle school and high school student athletes together. And when we can effectively allow that mentorship to happen, something magical occurs right within that. And then also providing the space for them to be with their emotional counterparts, right? So they have like that autonomy, but also that feeling of being together, and finding that nice balance of mentorship is kind of, it's a fantastic balance when it's fine. Lily, we've got resources for you on separating groups. There's fantastic things that you can do as a coach to intentionally create groups at random, to put groups together based on ability, to put groups based off of gender, to put groups based off of experience within the program or within the team. So we'll have that for you, and I'll go over that in a little bit, but really good asks of us. So thanks for that, Lily, appreciate it. Jules, spin it. What do we got? Next number.
7.
Woohoo! Group 7, room 7 was Brian Andrews, Danica, Mandy, and Travis. We're going to chair dance. Who's going to unmute?
I'll let you chair dance as long as you want.
Yeah, Travis, so good. Thank you for saving me from chair dancing. Appreciate it.
No, what's kind of funny is that it was a small group. I don't know if Mandy was unable to speak, but so it was a pretty short conversation where we just really got to kind of introduce ourselves and get to know myself being from Rochester. And then let's see, Brian was from Austin and Dan was from Hutchinson. So just kind of introductions and more or less a consensus of not really knowing what we were getting into today. Being kind of new myself, I was just kind of hoping to be all ears and learn more and just get more involved. So it was pretty interesting conversation, just kind of getting a feel for the different groups, different sizes, and even sounded like we had a common game. I know our group likes to do the bike rodeos kind of at the end of the day for bike balance and skills, and the kids cheering each other on and also kind of having fun with each other. And it sounded like Dan had a cool twist where they have their Hutchinson Tiger that they actually toss around in a form of keep away, which sounds kind of chaotic and fun.
Oh, fun. That is a fun little twist on it. I like that. Thank you, Travis. I appreciate you sharing. That's awesome. Jules, let's do one more and then we'll get going. One more spin. No whammies, no whammies. Number 1. Awesome. Chad Casey, Ladrick, Sean's iPad, and Shelly. We're in room 1.
I can go. Can you hear me?
Yay! I can. Yay! Thank you, Ladrick.
Okay. We all had similar ones. Most of us were using the Rosebud Thorn as a way of like circling up after a ride to talk about, what did you like? What are you looking forward to, and what was sort of challenging, and maybe working on the challenge.
Yeah.
Somebody else mentioned, let's see, stretching was a way of like starting out, is to like get together and stretch a little bit. One of the ones that I've done before is like a small traveling trophy that I hand out. And granted, I was with much smaller kids, but I would have a small traveling trophy that I would hand out to like the most improved, or the one who tried the hardest. I would have like silly little things like little action toys and things like that. And another one that I've used in the past as a warm-up is that I'll have companies donate water bottles, and then I'll bring a water bottle and put it in the grass and have the kids pick it up while they're on the bike without putting their foot down. So whoever gets to do that, you'll get a chance to do that. If you get to do it, you get to keep the water bottle.
Awesome. And you're not like water and water bottles, but like bike bottles, correct, Ladrick?
Yeah,
like
plastic water bottle.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, bike bottle.
Yeah, that's super fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love me some water bottle pickup. It's a fun game. They'll play it for days. And especially if they get to keep the water bottle, even more motivated for sure. The rosebud thorn is a really great reflective tool as well. So it's kind of like what was awesome, right? With the rose, what could you have done better? And then where can you improve? So another really great way to kind of frame that process of thinking it through and reflecting back on the day or an experience. So awesome, good contributions. All right, friends, I am going to reshare my screen, and we are going to kind of finish up with the last little bit that I've got and then pass it off to Jules. So all of this that we've kind of been talking about, and really what we're trying to get at with Adventure, is really athlete-centered coaching. This is just more tools in your tool bag as a coach, is really what we want to get to. And what we're really trying to develop we're going to do the 4 C's. And this is the qualities of a really great coach. And this is from Quality Coaching Framework, and it's USOPC from Wade Gilbert. You can look it up, and there's a really great handout that talks about kind of the 4 C's. But it's competence, confidence, connection, and character. If we don't get anything else, this is where we want to head as a coach. We want our student athletes to develop a level of competence, sport-specific, technical, tactical skills, right? This is where they develop some of those skills on the bike skills through gamification, and some of those skills and tactics that they develop for that performance piece, right? When to drink, when to fuel, when to hydrate, when to recover, all of that comes in that competence piece. Confidence is that self-belief, a little bit of mental toughness. I'm going to say mental flexibility rather than mental toughness, and a sense of positive self-worth. We really want our student athletes to come out of this with a level of confidence. Bikes are magical things, and they create the opportunity to develop these 4 C's, in my opinion, more so than any other sport, because we get to ride bikes and the really great magic things that happen on a bicycle. I think that's all why we're here. We all know the magic of the bike. Connection, why this is highlighted, this is where the adventure piece comes in. This is where those relationships start to come. And we do this intentionally as a coach by integrating games and activities to build those relationships, to create more team unity, to allow them to get to know the people that they're riding with, you as coaches, and the fellow student athletes that they get to participate with. And we really want them to develop that connection inside and outside of their team and outside of the sport. Develop those relationship building skills. Character is the icing on the cake. Respect for the sport, right? They understand their rider philosophy. Our aspiration as a coach is to come to our teams with our coaching philosophy, our why we are here as a coach, what it is that we believe, what we value, and where we're headed. And that will start to imbibe, and our riders will develop their own rider philosophy, and they'll develop a really strong sense of character out of all this. So my last little soapbox piece of this, and I saw it in the chat a little bit ago, and I'm going to stand on it, and then I'll get off quickly. My challenge to all of you, as you think about integrating these concepts intentionally into your practice, fundamentals, performance, and adventure, be very, very cautious. And I'm going to ask you to not label your athletes as riders or as racers or performance or adventure. As soon as you create that label for your student athletes, you do the opposite of creating an inclusive environment. There will be athletes that will be drawn more to performance, that will be drawn more towards fundamentals, and that will be drawn more towards the performance side. but don't put them into those individual buckets of you're an adventure rider, you're a performance rider, and you're more your fundamentals. It's important for them to get a portion of all of this. It's important for all of them to receive a little bit of this. So it's necessary for some, and it's going to be incredibly important for all to get little aspects of this to develop into really great, full-centered, wonderful human beings. Because that's ultimately a goal as a coach, is to create really solid humans out of our programs. So be cautious, don't label adventure or performance, provide it intentionally to all of them in some dose, but don't eliminate it for some, give it to all of them. I'm going to pass this over to Jules, and she is going to talk about the resources that we have for you all and how we're integrating this intentionally into Minnesota. Take it away, Jules.
Okay, thanks, Melissa. I'm so excited. This is going to be awesome. So, okay, I see some questions over here in the chat, and so I'm just going to read them really quick, and then I'm going to go through some different things, and then if we don't touch up on the questions you guys have, we're gonna definitely hit them at the end. So, there was the question on how to bridge the gap between performance racers and adventure riders, like relationship building. And then there's ideas for and to practice team building activities and ride groups and come back at different times. So they had something for their group, let's say. And yep, some people said that's something that they want to do, like kind of a workout ride on off nights, have recovery ride back with the team, and hope they allow themselves to relax and socialize more. So we can answer all this for you guys. So basically, so what we're going to do this year, this is brand new, adventure is new, but just like Melissa said, like, don't like pinhole your athletes into being into one specific category. We are going to help you guys help your athletes find, and not even athletes, but coaches. Like, we like our coaches and parents and everyone to be involved, but find adventure in everything, right? So this is kind of a new thing that we're going to be talking to you guys about soon, but basically we're calling it something like coaching in a can. And so the coaching in a can is how can you take a fundamentals 101, 201, like body separation, all the different fundamentals that we have. How do you incorporate adventure? And then how do you incorporate performance? We have our grit riders and all in the same thing. So basically it's kind of like a story, right? So what we're doing is going to help you coaches write a story for your athletes, right? So every story has a beginning. So beginning could be your fundamentals. Like, so what we're going to do is you're going to set like an objective for your practice. Hey, what it's going to be. And so last year, obviously everybody's in pods. We may be in pods again. I know our team is going to be in pods because we really like that. I think what pods really did for us is it also allowed the coaches to have more ownership and responsibility. So, and by the way, if you guys are all brand new coaches, don't freak out. We are going to seriously help you guys, and this is just going to be so much fun. So just come on in, and your team is going to help you, and we're going to provide information as well. So, so you're going to help like do these objectives for your practices, and then help your athletes define the success for the day. Let's say, every athlete's success, whether it's a sixth grader or even, a performance like high school rider, it's going to be totally different. And again, what is their goal? And then your middle part is this is where we have like all these icebreaker games. We have so many we're going to give you guys, skills games that are going to all relate to our fundamentals. And then again, the ride and performance part where if you're a new coach and your level 3 coaches may have some of this figured out, but you'll go on your ride and then boom, back, you guys are going to reflect on the day. So your coaches are going to take all your kids back in your pod, and they're going to come back, and then each athlete is going to reflect on what they do, what was awesome, right? Boom, end with the Stoke. So this is just kind of the beginning of this coaching in a can. Next. I'm not controlling the screen, so I don't know if I have to go like this. So basically, what we're gonna, is we call this buckets of adventure. And so there's gonna be something similar to this where it's gonna be super easy, where there's gonna be, again, different practices. Each individual athlete is gonna set a goal, and then it's gonna be your fundamental part. And then all of the fun drills and skills, and we're going to provide you guys with like a whole big list of things you guys can choose from. Click on it, boom, what do I want to do? I don't know. What kind of materials do you need? So we'll help you guys with that. And then we're going to have all these fun different off the bike adventures, different games, and then again, how does it incorporate into the trail? And then at the end is basically the reflection. So this is kind of basically how it goes, but. Right. Okay, so the buckets of adventure at your practice. So there's going to be, we have these lovely flip decks like we have for 101 and 201 that we are going to have for adventure. And so these are going to be some of the foundational games that you guys are going to have, some of the off the bike games, which are a lot of the team building games. So you guys are going to be able to get these like through just kind of clicking through like a link or through this flip deck. And these are just really super fun skill building games. And then we're going to have like the different adventure practice plans, adventure quest games, like orienteering, scavenger hunts. And so what we may do is we're going to have these available to you guys, but we may kind of pepper these ideas for you guys to incorporate throughout the season as well. And again, learning, like it's all the reflection. So what we want to do is we want these athletes to kind of learn from their mistakes. And so all of these games, whether it's fundamentals or adventure or performance, it's learning from making mistakes, right? And so it's okay. It's okay to make a mistake. And it's also fun to just incorporate games, whether you're a sixth grader or a senior, whether you're a varsity racer, it doesn't matter. Everybody loves games, and you guys can make like high level training into fun. Let's say training doesn't have to be training, right? It could just be fun and games. So that's my big thing, is to gamify everything. So we'll move on. Do you want to talk about this one, Melissa? Because I know we've done this one, but I know Melissa loves this one too. Everybody loves. I don't know if you guys have done it, but it's great.
So we've got a couple just seeds to plant for you all. A couple quick games. Jules referenced the adventure field guide that you all will get. That'll have, I don't even know how many games are in there. 34 off the bike games. I think there's like 20 or so of them in there. This is not in there. This is an extra game for you. So my love of this game is at the top of a climb. You climb something, you collect as a group, and you get to play Face the Cookie. Oreos are a great motivator. They also are vegan, which I discovered in Idaho. I didn't know that. Little seed to plant Oreos are vegan. So anywhere there's an open space, top of a climb, it's great. It's fun motivation. And it is a super simple game. It takes 60 seconds. So you kind of have a timer and you say, on your mark, you set, go. This is the league director from the NorCal League playing this game in Idaho with me on a ride. And you put the cookie, starts from left to right, on your forehead. And the object is in 60 seconds using just your face muscles, that was hard to say, to get the cookie from your forehead and into your mouth. And I think Vanessa got the closest on the ride. Bring extras always. This is non-COVID, obviously. Bring extra Oreos. Some will get dropped. You can operate under the 5-second rule if you choose to, or just have backups. Both are acceptable. But a really fun way to add a little bit of a snack, to add a little bit of sugar, and to kind of add something that brings the group together. I love at the top of a climb is my favorite way, or at the end of a longer ride is a really fun way just to kind of integrate Face the Cookie. So little seed for you, something fun. And then back to Jules.
All right, so just another idea for something fun. We call these adventure quest games. And so these are things like scavenger hunts, or we do the Amazing Race. We do like Melissa had with the Scrabble. And there's so many different things that you guys can come up with, and we have actually come up with for you guys, but you guys can expand on that. It's just all these super fun games that where you're going to put them into groups and help them solve problems. And the cool thing is I always call it trickery, right, of writing. So they need miles, right? And so we do photo scavenger hunts at Whitetail. And before COVID, and we'll see how it goes this year, we had them had to go around and figure out, just to get to these different waypoints. And then they had to take photos of the whole group of kids in a porta potty and make a pyramid and different things. But even if they have to maintain and be socially distant, there's still really cool ways to do that as well, where you can get them to, again, it's just this trickery of fun. Like everybody loves it. And there's so many fun ways to do these adventure quest games, and we'll provide those for you guys as well. Pages of a book that they have to go find, candy wrappers, or plant gnomes. Maybe there's gnomes on your trail or something that how many of whatever they can find. So
Awesome.
what's our last piece?
Time for questions.
Questions already.
What questions do you all have?
I do want people to ask. I do have to say though, that a lot of you people are going, oh my God, this is just how are we going to do this? And we are going to help you guys by providing documents and different things that you guys can get all of these games, and feel free to share games amongst your teams. That's really fun too. But so yeah, questions. Store camps, you guys must have a question.
Oh, so Jamie asked Jules, how did you divide kids into pods last year?
So last year, what we did is I used to coach girls, middle school girls, and then due to COVID, we had to switch based on coaching with your siblings and maintain the contact, right? So I had to coach my own kids, which was no fun. I am not doing that this year. I am back to the middle school girls. No, just kidding. But it is true, kind of, actually, to be honest. Like it's not a lot of fun to coach your own kids, but basically that's kind of what we did last year. And I think that everybody really did like that. Everybody had ownership. And then we have, let's say our main head coach would send out kind of a brief overview of basically what's going to happen, and then we would try to fill in a little bit. And so that's where we're hoping this year with this process of coaching in a can, we can help coaches that coach in pods, and they don't really know how to do it, and they don't know how to coach their own team, and they don't know how to do all these games, is to actually put that together. And so you're going, oh, okay, this seems super scary, whether it's sixth grader or a higher level athlete. But that's basically how we did it last year. And I think it was great, because then if somebody got sick last year, only that small pod was taken out. And then if that pod group couldn't even make it, then that was okay. Like, hey, that 7th grade girls pod group who wasn't able to come, and then they were fine with it. So that's how we broke it out. Let's see. Flip chart. What else do we have here?
Just a quick reminder, Jill threw it back in the chat, but please be sure to log on to the spreadsheet that he continues to share to get credit for the CEU. So if you haven't done that already, please, please, please log on to that so you can get credit and we can give you the CEU. The CEU, just a reminder, will come as a certificate, and then you can upload that certificate into PitZone to get credit for the CEU for today.
I am not wearing my
Jamie,
adventure hat next time. I'm sweating here. So
it's so hot.
It's hot. It's like a helmet. So anyway, it looked cool, but.
So Jamie asked, can you talk more about reflection time activities at the end of practice? So I think, Jamie, to start, the best thing to do with these are to keep them as simple and as straightforward as possible, because you want to just kind of build trust, especially at the beginning of the season, if you're just starting to integrate reflection. And some of like my favorite teacher, real simple reflection is just like, how did the day go, right? What we use that rosebud thorn kind of analogy of what was good, you know, what a start, stop, continue. What do you want to start doing? What do you want to stop doing? What do you want to continue doing as another framing? My other favorite, just a real quick, is a fist to 5. Like on a scale from today was not awesome to today was super rad. How did you rate the day? And you can just do a fist to 5 on the experience. And often the important part of reflection is to ask the follow-up curious question. If you get the fist to 5, the next piece of that reflection is, hey, what was it that made today a 5? What was it about today that made today a 0? So it doesn't need to be something that's incredibly formal. It's just starting the opportunity for the relationship to ask questions. And Jules talked about it earlier, but it's really making time at the right time. Providing space at the end of practice to just make yourself available. And to me, it's not only the important question, it's also in your body language. As a coach, right? We often, as we're being kind of spoken to, we're doing something else. We're on our phone. We are dealing with a bike. We are fixing someone's flat. We're digging in our pack to look for something. And if a student athlete comes to you and makes that opportunity for you to have that reflection time with them, or to ask that question, to square your shoulders, to make yourself available, to make that time, and then just to start ask questions and using some of the framework, the what, now what, so what, rosebud thorn, start, stop, continue, fist to 5 are some of the quick ones that I use kind of on the regular to be able to just start those conversations. We will do, as a follow-up, a whole session on reflection, because there's a ton of opportunity out there. I don't want to dive into it too much because we'll run out of time. But there's a lot of different skills and a lot of techniques that you can utilize and just start to try them on. But just being available, making time at the right time, making space for it, and just asking the curious question. Those are your great starting spots.
And if I could just like quickly jump in, because I feel like the beginning and the end are the most important times of practice, especially for a lot of us teams who have, like composite teams, or it doesn't even actually matter if it's a composite team. These student athletes have possibly been at school all day. They've been doing so many other things, and now they're getting taxed with just quickly, getting to practice and having to then just boom, listen and follow rules again. And so us as coaches, I feel like it's so important to allow them that time to socialize, and then you bring them in and they have that little bit of fun. You get them to play a game. They can do the serious part. If they're into performance, that's fine, but it can still be a game, let's say. And then bring them back again. Instead of just like letting them hang around on their bikes, bring them in. Just like, hey guys, quickly wheels in, super easy, 5 minutes, whatever it may be. But it's super important to do this 5 minutes at the beginning at least, and just at least 5 minutes at the end.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. The other really great, Jules just planted a seed or spark, a reminder, is also to allow time for the student athletes to recognize each other. Mm-hmm. Kind of a shout out or a high five to a fellow student athlete is also a really great way to get them talking. Sometimes it's hard for them to express emotion or feelings or things that they personally have, but to recognize others is also a really great opportunity to start those conversations.
I like that Nick says that
Nick,
the laughter
exactly.
from the games before the ride helps set the tone for a fun ride, which is totally true.
Yep.
So thanks for that, Nick, because yeah, that really does. You know, if somebody's had a bad day and they all start laughing and giggling, and next thing you know, I mean, it's just a great practice. They don't even know they're doing anything except for just having a fun time together. So. Should we go on to that last slide? And then if you guys have any more questions afterwards, just put them into the chat and we can answer them later or what have you. But okay, next steps. I thought Melissa was going to do this, but I'll do it. So,
sorry, Jules, I was waiting for you.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry,
Jules. Again, I mean, so with this year, we're going to do things a little bit differently with the Minnesota League, and we're looking for people who like this. You know, is adventure something that you really like? You know, performance or fundamentals. Like, is there somebody? Are you interested, or is there somebody on your team that may be interested in kind of being a lead for, let's say, adventure? We are going to be providing this year some CEU series, webinar type things like this, where we may get into some more of the details like Melissa talked about. It may just be, you know, time for, hey, what are we going to do some stuff in an opening, or what are we going to do in kind of our closing, and or what are some specific games. But throughout the season, we're going to be providing some different things, webinars and some CEU series that you guys will find more out about. And just to let you guys know, the material or all the stuff that we're talking about right now, the reference materials and all these games and the on the bike, off the bike skills games are going to be available to you guys. And I don't know where exactly, but they are available. And if you guys have more questions, certainly reach out to me. I know Erik didn't talk at all. I feel bad. So Erik Moe, Buck Hill guy, super awesome. I mean, Erik actually does all of the stuff. He heads up the Thursday night race series for Buck Hill. He does ski stuff. He does, like, Erik is super. Did I spell your name right, Erik? But yeah, so Erik is
okay.
Yeah, and so he's a Burnsville team coach, and like he said before, his daughter's part of. She's a grit ambassador. So if any of you guys are getting in on the grit webinar thing this week, his daughter is really involved in that. So anyway, message either me, Erik, Melissa, or Joel if you guys have more questions.
And the reason I didn't talk wasn't because I didn't want to. It's just, I love it, the adventure aspect of it so much. I'd get so sidetracked. I'd be up here on this little mountain over here on my screen right there. So
he's doing the whole presentation next time. So
that's right. Your test. All right, friends, that is what we have for tonight. Any other questions, please shout. If you need to go do the rest of your evening, go ahead. We are officially kind of wrapping it up. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it immensely. Go forth, wreak havoc, be amazing coaches, integrate a little bit of this, what we talked about tonight. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And don't forget to fill in your attendance on that sheet if you haven't done already. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll hopefully see you all on the trail soon.
Thanks, guys. Store camps, bye. They're our neighbors in mountain bike world, so.
Very good. It's awesome. a few stragglers. Terry and Andrew can't find the leave button. They're like, I don't even know where this